are you losing weight, but unfortunately everything looks the same. You're doing your cardio, you're counting your macros, you're cutting the carbs, you're cutting the fats. You didn't decrease the intensity during the training, but simply the body doesn't change. Actually, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and there are no details coming. Looks really frustrating. Don't worry, you're not crazy. This is exactly what happens on the first cut. So therefore this video is for competitors and for, of course, amateurs and for normal people who are doing their first cut and are expecting to see the details. By the way, my name is Boris Kish. I'm a certified fitness coach, nutritionist, and competitor in super heavyweight category about 100 kilos. Welcome to my channel. So let's explain everything. It's completely normal that you think that maybe you have only 7, 8 to 10 kilograms of fat on your body, and then after every kilogram, when it starts dropping down on the scale, you will start to see changes. Mostly the expectations are big changes, and the reality is completely the opposite. You're losing pound per pound, kilogram per kilogram, nothing is happening, and it looks really frustrating. I mean, your clothes is looking way bigger than it was before, nothing is tight on you anymore. You feel dizzy, you feel weak, especially on the first diet. You're barely doing cardio, you're not able to finish it. You are giving everything that you can and even more. You are maybe even getting weaker in the gym, and still when you look yourself in the mirror, there is no definition. You actually look much more softer and you look maybe even more bloated, and you're thinking what the hell is happening, and you might be even thinking to quit. So if you're thinking to quit, don't quit. This is why I made this video, just for you. I mean, this is what happened to me even when I was preparing for my first contest. First of all, you have to know that you have no idea how fat you are. And I'm not saying that you are fat, I'm saying that you are fat probably more than you think you are, for getting into the proper shape, for seeing the proper six-pack, for seeing the cuts on your quads, for seeing the separation between biceps and triceps, and therefore you need much longer time. And first of all, you have to know that when you start dieting, believe it or not, even if you do everything to avoid it, your cortisol will go up, the stress hormone, and therefore you will have a little bit more of water retention that is going to make you look much softer than usually. And the body, is going to drop the glycogen from the muscles, because the muscles are not going to be full as they were when you were bulking, when you were eating a lot of carbs, a lot of fats, and therefore, when that glycogen drops down from the muscles will automatically look flatter. And as I said, imagine like the muscles are flatter because you're dieting, the weight starts dropping, the water comes under the skin from all that stress, maybe even panicking. Every time you go on the scale, the weight looks way, smaller, but there are no details. Arm is not as big as it was. You look, to yourself like a piece of crap. You get into depression. You don't know what's going on. I know, trust me, was there, been there. I thought, who am I kidding? I'm preparing myself for the contest. I look like the big piece of crap. I look like nothing. Like, what the hell is going on? I thought that I would lose 8 to 10 to 12 kilograms. It was, for me, because I'm a really tall guy, I'm 1 meter 93 centimeters, and when I started my first cut, I lost 15 kilograms. Nothing was visible. Imagine, 15 kilograms I dropped. I looked the same as when I started, flat, soft, without details. And then, I realized, luckily I had a really good coach who was phenomenal with with training, and he had a lot of experience. He was competing at his prime. He was really good at the time, also heavyweight competitor. And he told me what I'm going to tell you. Don't worry, first diet is always like this because you don't know your body. The last 5 kilograms are going to make a huge impact on you. The last 5 kilograms. What does that mean? When you get to the point when the body is actually starting to change, when you lose all this thick layer of fat, the last curtain of fat is going to be showing your details much more, because pretty much nothing is going to be left. And then on the last 5 kilograms, every day, every few 100 grams that I dropped, I saw some details that were pumping out. So on the last 5 kilograms, from actually being looking like a soft water buffalo, I was completely defined. And then I had to drop water, and I was good enough for my first contest. And this is exactly what's going to happen to you. Don't get into any kind of trip, don't get into any kind of depression. As I said, I said roughly 5 kilograms, 15 kilograms. So don't look this as something that is written in the stone. I am a bigger guy, therefore I need to drop 15 kilograms. But you might be needing to drop 7, 10, maybe 15 if you're big as me, maybe more. But those last 5 kilograms are the ones that are making a huge impact. And then you will see every few days you will look better and better and better. This is why I make this video for you. You have to stay focused until these last 5 kilograms, and you won't regret. And then when you fill them later with carbs, with fats, you will see the huge amount of progress and dedication and sacrifices that you did when you built all that muscles in the off season. Just wait until this happens. And you might get into the trap, because today on all social media you can see all the professional bodybuilders who are starting their off season, and they say, let's say 16 weeks out, 20 weeks out, and then you're looking them and they're posting every week, and you see, wow, they're amazing. They change every week. They're getting from better to better to better to better every week. That you see progress, and on yourself you see nothing, and you think, well, what the hell is happening here? But first of all, they're pros. They're not amateurs. Second of all, it's your first cut. It's their 1,000th cut. Do you understand what I want to say? The most important thing, they're huge. So they're competing with 120, 130 kilos on the stage. You don't have that muscle mass. I don't have that muscle mass on the stage. My best was around 110 plus minus, stage ready, really dried condition. And when they started their cut, let's be realistic and honest, they were not fat. They had proper 6-pack, 8-packs, their quads were separating, biceps, triceps, shoulders, everything. They just didn't have maybe Christmas tree on the lower back and serrated glutes. This was because they did the clean bulk and they know what they were doing, and they were not fat in the off season. So their starting point was already like those last 5 kilos of yours. And yes, they maybe dropped 10, 15 kilos, but when you're 120, 130, kilograms on the stage, that 10, 15 kilos is not huge excess amount of percent, if you understand. Therefore that fat and water was mostly there. That is a really tiny percent on their huge body. So do not compare yourself with them. Just go along with the process, and I can promise you at the end you are going to see the hard work of your sacrifices. Just don't quit. Don't get into the trip. The hell with this. I don't want to cut anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's get back to the mass phase. Let's eat everything. Let's put back the size because I'm getting smaller and nothing is visible. And this is the stupidest idea that I ever did. Trust me a lot. I saw a lot of my colleagues who were starting when I was, who never went to their first contest because they didn't had balls, you know, to go all the way through, you know. And as I said, this is not only for people who are going into the contest, just, you know, squeeze that willpower, go to the till the end, and you will definitely see the products of your hard work. So the final conclusion is, no, you're not crazy, you're not genetical garbage, no, nothing is wrong with you, you're doing everything right. But when the midpoint comes, you think like, what am I supposed to do? Shall I quit or go on? Just go on, few more kilograms, I promise you, and then you're going to see the hard work that you did all year around, or even more, depends when did you start your first cut. Hope this video helped you. Like and subscribe if you did, and write me in the comment sections what you think about it. Till next time, bye.